Testing, 1, 2. I think we got it. Well, good morning. This turned out to be quite a nice meeting room here this morning. We've been used to going to hotels and restaurants and all that sort of stuff, but this worked out really well. So it's great seeing all of you. It's been a long time. I'm glad to be here. I know hopefully you're glad to be here. I'm proud to be here because we just had a great time here trying to get ready for this thing and kicking off Champions for Kids again. We've got a guest. I'll introduce you to Amy in just a few minutes. But I've always thought we've had a kind of a get-to job place. You want to get to it because it's exciting, the culture's good, the people you work with are good. Much different than a got-to job where you can't wait to quitting time and getting home. So I really believe that this is a great place to work, and I just appreciate all of you because what you do, it makes us who we are. So thank you very much. You deliver world-class service and sales and share with us our shared values of great sales leadership, and they're on the wall in our meeting room. I've had these values since 1976, as I can remember, and I've taken them with me everywhere we go. But great sales leadership, great relationships with our team, certainly great relationships with our manufacturers, and really important is a great corporate citizenship within our community. So that's what these values are all about, and they remain with us as we move into 2022. I think we all can agree that 2020 and right up to date this morning has been one of the most tumultuous times in our lives with COVID and now inventory shortages. I mean, I've never seen in my whole 40 years a lot that looks like this up and down the boulevard with no inventory due to supply shortages and chip shortages and things like that. But the good news is all of these everything is changing and improving. The one thing I'm glad about, and I hope you are too, the nicest thing about elections when they're over, you don't have to watch those ads anymore. I am so sick of the two governor candidates going back and forth and all the other candidates going back and forth. It's a breath of fresh air just to have it over with. The last year and a half has taught us how much we can accomplish together through these tough times. There's really never been a playbook, so to speak, for the things that you face and that come into our working environment. But this one is that you've never worked harder, never worked smarter, faster to keep us moving towards our goals and our shared values of customer satisfaction. It's made us stronger. As a group, it's made us stronger than ever. So I know you've had challenges in your own personal life, in your home, or your church, or whatever. They've all been very challenging times. Thomas Jefferson said, I like the dreams of the future much more than the history of the past. So think about that. We can dream for the future. We can't change the past. So I believe in looking through the front windshield versus a rear view mirror. So we've got a great future coming up. There's going to be just a whole different supply of cars coming our way, and that takes those to sell them and service them and get us going back in the right direction. We've got some new competition in town. I know most of you have heard about Tysinger selling out, and that's probably good for us. There's a very successful smaller auto group than Tysinger probably, but he's got a good reputation. So our challenge there is to just do the best we're doing, continue to grow our market share, which we always focus on that. I always talk about if you lose sight, you lose the fight. So we stay focused on market share all the time, and that's the engine that drives us. We got to keep winning, keep breaking records. That's the kind of fun stuff. I like to win. I like to break records, and I know you do too. We got to reunite our brand. Continually reignite Mercedes-Benz of Virginia Beach as the best place to buy a car, the best place to work, the best place for customer service. And we got to keep riding with Charlie. Riding with Charlie doesn't mean me, it means you, each one of you. The job you do every day, that's what makes Riding with Charlie, that marketing theme, so successful. And it is successful. Everywhere I go, people tell me, I just want you to know I'm riding with you. And I say, well, thank you very much. Just keep doing it. So you might wonder where our two leaders are this morning. Nathan, I was just telling Amy, our guest, Nathan is in Israel, walking the Israeli trail. It's ups and downs and cliffs and valleys and all kinds of stuff, about almost 20 miles a day for about a six-week hike. We wanted to Well, he wanted to do it. I never wanted to do it, but we planned it a couple years ago to let him be off that much time, and of course COVID restricted that. So he's over there, and I think he's coming back. When's he coming back, Grace? You know, first week of December. So that's where he is. Brian Clark, our general manager, is out in Austin, Texas, at a Maserati meeting. So Brian couldn't be here this morning either. First things first, but I'm sure he's already probably bought a hat and some boots and cowboy shirt, and he's all rigged up. So moving on to Champions for Kids, that's one of the main reasons we're here this morning. But a few weeks ago, we held our kickoff at Chicks on Lynnhaven Inlet the other day, let's see, October the 4th or 5th. And we had a great auction to kick off, and we raised nearly $200,000, like $200,000 in that one night in 2 hours. So that was really a great kickoff for us. Champions for Kids is 27 years old. I started it in 1994. So that's how long we've been around, 27 years. I remember our first year that we did it, I think we gave $20,000 to the Boys and Girls Club. That was our sole recipient. And now we're approaching over $5 million for youth programs and educational programs of those in need in this city. And your dollars help a lot. So since that first event, I mean, we've came a long way. I'm sort of driven to helping programs of those less fortunate and those who need education to change their lives, and healthcare like CHKD. We've given to so many things. I think it was 40 agencies last time I counted in a year that we had given to. So, I mean, you know what they are. We'll talk about them a little bit later, but let's just watch a quick video on Champions for Kids.
You're making a difference in someone else's lives and not just only thinking about yourself.
Smallest thing can make a big difference in a child.
The dollars go directly to help the folks in the community.
Anything can make a big difference. Champions for Kids helps organizations which are already in place to help in our community. We just help them give kids hope, a little more hope, and it always helps to have a little extra money in the cash register to do that with. We sort of select the ones that we think really have low administrative cost, and we know that the dollars are going for good use, and they're going to get down to the level we want it to get to and really have an effect. You take Achievable Dream, which is a school for kids at the poverty level. It's life-changing because they go to school, they get a breakfast, they meet special people in the community, and their whole day starts with the Pledge Allegiance to the flag and singing the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, you can't set a better standard than that.
What is the golden rule, everybody?
How would I feel if somebody did it to me?
We offer the social, academic, and moral education. These students need hope for their future. All they see is blight, so they need hope. We try to identify those students throughout the city that have the most challenges. Experiences, field trips are a big part of our culture. Last year, K through 12 in Newport News, our students participated in 95 field trips. Champions for Kids has supported so many students in Hampton Roads, and especially in Achievable Dream. So when people support Champions for Kids, they're ultimately supporting an Achievable Dream and our students and their futures.
Our scholarship program's in every high school in the city of Virginia Beach. We have a school teacher on board who sells cars for us now, and she does a great job overseeing this program with the city. It's based on kids who are doing stuff outside the classroom. They're volunteering, they're supporting organizations, they're giving back, which is what we're all about.
I applied. It was a short essay on community service, and I wrote mine about CHKD and my service there. With the help from the Champion for Kids Scholarship, I'm able to start my first year at UVA for biomedical engineering.
We provide health care for any child who needs us, regardless of their family's ability to pay. If you need heart surgery, if you have cancer, if you have asthma, if you've been a victim of child abuse, no matter what happens to you as a child, we can take care of you, or we'll do our best to take care of you at Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters, so you're local. Because we care for any child who comes to us, regardless of their family's financial means, we are very dependent on the communities to support us with their dollars, with their time, with their money, and we really could not do the job that we do without community support. So we're really grateful for Champions for Kids because we are dependent on community support, and without organizations like Champions for Kids, we couldn't do what we do. So I want to thank everyone out there who contributes to them because we benefit, and if all the families could thank you personally, I know that they would.
My wife and granddaughter went on Operation Smile trip this year in Paraguay. They came back and it's just ecstatic on how the whole experience was and how the satisfaction and the wealth that they got out of that was just, you can't put it on paper. They go all over the world and do things that no one else could do. They operate on children who have cleft palates, cleft lips, and that is life-changing. It's going to change their appearance and their whole self-esteem for the rest of their life.
Operation Smile now has been part of this community for 33 years. On an average, we'll do 22,000 surgeries in a year. Champions for Kids is about the future of children, right? So this is what we're all about. So funding for a mission. We have students that go out on our missions, helping that funding of those students to get there, to be part of that mission. They come back here, I can tell you, changed. They will never think the same again. It's amazing what Champion for Kids can do, even for the future, because we are changing the lives of our own community of students, and we're changing the lives of the community that we work in. So the future is about children and their lives, and Champions for Kids is making that possible.
Stop Abuse was an interesting program I saw 4, 5, 6 years ago. They would go into elementary schools and pre-K and kindergarten, first grade maybe, and they would do these marionette shows about sexual abuse that would have never came forward without this marionette show. So we got behind that, and we've been a big supporter ever since.
Boys and girls, this is my friend Simon, and Simon is like that deep voice inside you that tells you right from wrong. He's kind of like your conscience.
Stop Abuse is a tax-exempt organization where we have a program that teaches young children how to recognize, prevent, and disclose sexual abuse. Children's rights are human rights, so I think it's really important for every child to be able to know how to protect themselves and the sanctity of their bodies. We've performed now for over 250,000 children just in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, and thousands of children have been able to prevent abuse. Our program was responsible for helping put 158 child molesters in prison. So yeah, thank you God, and thank you Charlie Barker, because we have to raise a lot of money to do this. Champions for Kids and Charles Barker Automotive were the title sponsors for our last Kids Fandango Festival, and it was a huge success. And from the money raised, we were able to bring our program to many, many more children. It's absolutely amazing what Charles Barker and his foundation have done for us.
Junior Achievement, you've got kids that need special attention and education, and it's in high school level, they teach kids how to be financially responsible, you know, how to plan their day, be entrepreneurs in a high school setting. So when they leave, go to college, and then they just gain this knowledge, it takes it further, but that's where it starts.
We send volunteers into the classroom and mentors that share their real life experiences with the kids. These mentors are teaching the kids how to be good citizens, how to be financially stable, how to be prepared for the world of work, and how to be successful once they do get those jobs. Champions for Kids helps junior achievement by providing financial support that allows us to offer our programs to not only schools but other nonprofits at no charge. Our whole staff at Junior Achievement can't express how much that Charles Barker and Champions for Kids help us do our job.
The public school system asks people to volunteer to pack up breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the weekends for kids who need it, who are in need. And during the year, lunches for kids who are in need and dinner. So our folks chipped in, and there was a special event at the town center where they packed up backpacks, one right after the other, full of food, so these kids would have something to eat.
Champions for Kids is a great partner for the Beach Bags program. In the past, they've held food drives at locations and collected food items. And in addition, teams of volunteers have come out to help collect food at our citywide food drive and also pack hundreds of bags that went directly to children in our community. Unfortunately, poverty is a very real and persistent problem in our city and therefore in our schools. Champions for Kids' involvement with the Beach Bags program means that children in need are getting enough to eat over weekends and school breaks when they might otherwise go hungry. And that is a contribution and value to the community that you can't put a price tag on.
The Navy SEAL Team Foundation is very important to us because these fellows are all, a lot of them are trained here, and they go on very, as we know, very dangerous missions, and some of them don't come back, but they leave a family, a wife and children here, so that foundation really supports that, and we like to support that.
Our mission is to provide immediate and ongoing support for the Naval Special Warfare community and their families. It includes things like scholarships, tuition assistance for the active duty. We have some remote duty station educational support in areas where the educational opportunities for the families may not be as good as what we have in the States every day. These families sacrifice so much for all of our safety. They can be gone from their families up to 270 days a year. More than half of the Navy SEALs in the country, or about half, are located here in Hampton Roads. When we suffer their losses, you know, we participate in them. It affects this community in a big way. Champions for Kids helps the Navy SEAL Foundation ensure that we're sustainable. So through partnerships with Champions for Kids, we have the ability to know that we have funding. Now that next year, a program we created is still going to be there.
What we do, I think, offers hope to some organizations that they can go out and they can help a needy child or a needy family or a group of children. The Boys and Girls Club, for example, I mean, it's a safe place for them to go. I've visited Boys and Girls Club in Virginia Beach, and I tell you, you walk in there at 3:30 in the afternoon and it's a screaming madhouse, but yeah, you got to love it because they're just having a great time. And some of them would be home without parents after school. The programs they work in the summertime, you know, they get dropped off at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, they get picked up at 6 o'clock at night, they get a hot lunch, they may not eat lunch that day.
The population of kids that we serve, we actually locate our clubs in the neighborhoods who need us the most, and some of those neighborhoods are disadvantaged neighborhoods with challenges, some with youth violence and other issues, poverty. We help them with homework help, tutoring. We provide mentoring programs. Boys and Girls Clubs are concerned with the general health of our young people, and Smart Smiles is a program to help them with their dental needs, and Bright Eyes is a program that helps them with their vision, if there's impaired vision. We also do gang prevention programs in the community, workforce development programs. We try to find those things that the kids need assistance with, and we supplement their life, the schools, their parents, and help them with those things. Boys and Girls Clubs is extremely appreciative of Champions for Kids. It's another avenue that they're spreading the word about the challenges that young people have, and it's resources that we don't have to be directly involved in helping to raise, but do make a major impact with us, so we are extremely appreciative of their efforts.
We raised over $3 million for youth programs throughout Hampton Roads, and we're really excited about it. Last year we got all of our employees involved in it. They're excited. We got another meeting to launch it for 2016 internally with our people.
Walking down those hallways every day, seeing some of the same teachers that taught me. The thing about it,
people should get involved in Champions for Kids because it helps a lot of people who can't help themselves, a lot of young kids who can't help themselves. You might be getting somebody a better education, might get a child out of poverty. So this is just a foundation that funnels that and sort of organizes that to do, you know, good throughout Hampton Roads for kids. Kids are our future.
Give to Champions for Kids. It'll make you feel good.
Donate to Champions for Kids. You'll make the difference.
Couple stars there at the end. It was back, I think that was 2015. That's a little dated, and that tells the story better than I can. I mean, that's just a few of the agencies, kind of scratch the surface of some of the real important ones. Is one word that comes out in there that I just think about all the time. And matter of fact, when I go to Achievable Dream and I'm shaking hands in the morning with those kids, I don't see blue eyes, black eyes, dark brown eyes, green eyes. I see hope. And that was mentioned there. These kids, if we give them anything, but the best thing we can give them is hope. And it takes funding to do that. So they see, hey, they got a real chance here. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our guest, Amy Sampson. Amy is with King's Daughters Hospital, and she is the Vice President, Chief Engagement and Innovations Officer. She's a very busy lady. She received her bachelor's degree from University of Virginia. She's a Jefferson Scholar there, and she joined CHKD in 1990 as public relations person. She's responsible for way too many things. King's Daughters Development Department, Government Relations, Mental Health, Child Advocacy Center, Strategic Planning and Business Development, Volunteer Service, Patient Education, Patient Experience, the King's Daughters Milk Bank, Community Outreach, Physicians Liaison, the Call Center, and even the gift shop. How do you do all that? Please welcome Amy Sampson.
Thank you all so much. And it's, after 32 years somewhere, it's kind of the other duties as assigned, but this is really about you all today and the amazing contributions. I'm just really floored by the $5 million that you all have raised, all to help children and to help children's charities. So I salute you and I applaud you, and I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to talk a little bit about Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters, which I know many of you know personally and have had experiences with us. And if I could just have just a few moments to tell you a little bit more about where we're heading in the future and the crisis that our children are facing now, even more so because of the pandemic that is within our midst. But CHKD, and are we on the first slide? Thank you, sorry. We were established as a hospital in 1961, and we have 206 inpatient beds, and we have many, many outpatient services all throughout Hampton Roads, from the south side to the peninsula, even down into northeastern North Carolina. We have a trauma center where the children who are most severely injured now come to CHKD to receive care. We're also an academic institution, so we train the next generation of pediatricians and pediatric specialists to take care of children. We're a large employer, and much like you all, we believe that a big part of our mission is to give back to the community and make sure that we're taking care of all the children in need and taking care of the underserved. But in 2018, we really established a new mission for CHKD. Just a little bit more about the children that we serve. As you look at this map of the Commonwealth of Virginia, you can see that every corner of our state sends children to CHKD for care. This was our most recent year. This combines both inpatient and outpatient visits, but you can see that almost 650,000 children received care at CHKD in the course of that year, whether it was outpatient visits for cancer treatment, whether it was inpatient care for a catastrophic injury or illness, whether it was for cancer treatment. These children came to CHKD. We are here for every child that needs our care, regardless of the family's ability to pay. We serve more underserved children than any other institution in the Commonwealth, really doubling the next closest institution. So 60% of our children that come to CHKD are covered by Medicaid. About another 10 or so percent are covered by TRICARE. So about 70% of the children that come to CHKD are covered by government-sponsored insurance. And if you're familiar with the way insurance works, commercial insurance that covers the rest of the children is just inadequate to cover all the expenses that are needed to really provide for the relief of the injuries and the catastrophic illnesses that these children face. But as I said, we're facing a different crisis right now, And the pandemic is just exacerbating the statistics that you see on this page, which are already so frightening. 1 in 5 children, and this was a study that was done before the pandemic, has a diagnosable mental health condition. That's 1 out of every 5 children. Our psychiatrists now think that it's closer to 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 children. Not surprisingly, when we look at adults in our population that have mental health conditions, those conditions onset 50% of the time before that person was the age of 14 years old. So if we can get to these children early, before they hit their young years, their teen years, their young adult years, imagine the difference we can make in their lives if we can get in there and we can intervene early. The most common reason that children are hospitalized in our area is for mental health conditions, but CHKD has no inpatient psychiatric beds today, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But children in our community need hospitalization for psychiatric care at greater rates than for any other condition. Our children, sadly, are dying by suicide. It's the second leading cause of death for children under the age of 24. So in the age of 10 to 14, suicide is taking more lives than any other medical condition combined. When you look at heart disease, when you look at cancer, when you look at cystic fibrosis, suicide is taking more children. Our high school students think about suicide. 17% of them have considered it in the past year. When we think about a number like that, it takes your breath away to think that our children are struggling in such a profound way. This is a kind of symbolic of a recent day at CHKD, but I just looked at our census report for this morning, which tells me every morning the children that are inside the hospital for any kind of reason. But right now, sitting in our emergency department and upstairs in our inpatient beds, we have 17 children with a primary mental health crisis. Now remember, we have no inpatient psychiatric beds, so those children are sitting and waiting for a bed to become available somewhere in Virginia, somewhere in the mid-Atlantic, somewhere on the East Coast for care. These children that you can see the ages in front of you. Many of them have had suicidal ideations. They've tried to ingest something. They have aggression. They have other psychosis and other disorders. 10 years ago, we wouldn't see these numbers at CHKD. These children, at an escalating rate, are needing mental health care, and they're coming to our doors. Our doors are open, but right now there's no room at the inn. But all that is going to change. Something poignant that we often through art therapy try to bring out from the children what they're experiencing and have them have outlets for communication and when it's just too difficult to talk to somebody. And you can see this is an art piece that was done by a 16-year-old. And she said, "My anxiety makes me feel like I'm left in a negative and draining headspace. I feel alone, forgotten, and attacked at every moment because of my inability to rationalize my thoughts and feelings." This is so symbolic of what our children are struggling with. And fortunately, this is a young lady who is willing to put this on paper and who is willing to seek care and willing to seek treatment. This is really a family dynamic and a family situation where you have to have not only the recognition that there's the problem, but the willingness for the family to acknowledge it and to bring that child in for care. One of the biggest struggles that we have is erasing stigma. So it used to be that no one would talk about mental illness in a family. It was something that brought shame to the family, that people wanted to hide and not discuss. Thankfully, our young people, and whether it's because of the pop culture dynamic and everyone talking about mental health from Michael Phelps to Simone Biles, they're now willing to express their feelings and to come forward and to let somebody know what's going on with them. Those are the fortunate ones that we can have come to CHKD for help. Right now, we have a multitude of outpatient mental health services for children, but sadly we have almost 2,000 children on our waiting list for mental health care right now. But I'm proud to tell you that we have something that we're able to do to make a dramatic change and a transformational change in these children's lives. Our bold and transformational vision is to build 60 inpatient psychiatric beds at CHKD. So if you've been to downtown Norfolk recently and you've driven along Brambleton Avenue, you've seen our new tower that has risen up. It's 14 stories tall, and it will house those 60 beds. This is something that is an incredible investment, not only by CHKD, but by our community to make this happen. This building, it's a $224 million infrastructure build, but it's a $45 million a year annual operating endeavor. It requires 400 new employees to come to CHKD and frankly to come to Hampton Roads with this level of expertise. We've not had this level of psychiatric expertise in Hampton Roads ever. So in 2018 we had 1 child psychiatrist at CHKD. Today we have 12. By this summer I'm hoping that we have 20. We're in the midst of recruiting right now, but we are attracting the best and the brightest from across the United States. We have our chief of child psychiatry, who we are fortunate to find right here in Hampton Roads. He was chief of psychiatry at Portsmouth Naval Medical Center, and he had the opportunity to go anywhere in the United States when he retired and had offers from all over the country to lead psychiatric programs at children's facilities across the United States. And we were fortunate that he decided to stay right here in Hampton Roads, partly because he saw the dramatic need for our children, whether it's the children of the military or the children of the general community that need services that were not found anywhere else. I think we have another slide, next slide, a slide, another video. So this just shows you one of the really unique aspects of this new mental health hospital for children at CHKD. We visited facilities across the United States, from right up the road in DC and then up in Rhode Island. Then we went to 2 children's hospitals in Ohio, 1 in Colorado, and in Seattle, Washington, to bring the best of the best back to CHKD to build this 60-bed facility. This is an example. What you see is a sample of an inpatient room in this new hospital. Now, I told you that we have 60 inpatient rooms. What you'll notice in this image is that there are 2 beds in this room. All of our rooms are private. The second bed is for the parent. So if it's clinically appropriate for a parent to spend the night with a child, we have a bed in the room for them to do so. For so long, children were sent to mental health facilities and they were literally locked away. Parents could not have any communication with them for days, if not weeks at a time. They were treated in this bubble and were not allowed to interact with others. We want to, again, break that stigma and break that mold. Speaking of breaking the stigma, this building, and we were so fortunate to have Charlie and Nathan tour not that long ago, and you mentioned the word hope, Charlie. Our mission is health, healing, and hope for all children. So this building is a beacon of health, healing, and hope that rises on our campus on Brambleton Avenue, 14 stories tall. Many of the facilities that I visited were down a winding road in the middle of the woods, and so no one could kind of see you coming or going, again, because of that shame and fear of being seen going into a mental health hospital. That is no longer. We are going to shine a light. This building is also going to have outpatient services from primary care pediatrics to sports medicine physicians in the same building as the mental health services, so that it'll be as routine for a child to go get treatment for a knee injury as it is for treatment for a therapy visit for their mental health. So I would like to now show you this video that I think will do a much better job of explaining our vision to you all.
Today we begin construction on our new 60-bed, 14-story, $224 million mental health hospital that will open in 2022.
CHKD, you have a grateful community. This is a great day in the life of CHKD, and it's a great day in the city of Norfolk.
Lighting the Way campaign for CHKD will allow us to do things that are unique in the country. This facility is unique. We've done our homework across the country looking at best practices and things that have worked for other facilities, but this facility is unique. You'll never see one like it.
What a tremendous asset Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters is for Norfolk, for Hampton Roads, and for Virginia.
CHKD serves children from every corner of the Commonwealth, year in and year out. All of us, the government, organizations like CHKD, and all of our citizens must work together so that all Virginians have a chance for success in our great state.
I am so proud to be part of CHKD's building of their new facility. They have really stepped up to lead the way. This is a state-of-the-art facility that our whole state can be proud of.
This is an opportunity of a lifetime. I am so proud of the board of directors for getting behind this. I'm proud of my colleagues that are leading the way. We are taking the best that mental health care can offer and providing it to this community.
We are building hope inside the walls of this new tower. We are shining the light on mental health to raise awareness and to erase stigma. We are filling this facility with optimism that robust outpatient and full-day treatment programs will return children to health and restore them to their ability to play, interact, socialize, attend school, enjoy sports, and maybe most importantly, see a bright future for themselves.
We as a society, we as a community, we need to step up and make sure that all of our children, not only here in Hampton Roads, but across the Commonwealth of Virginia, have access to quality and affordable mental health care. So I thank you all so much for being here today, and may God bless all of you. Thank you so much.
So one of the things that you probably saw just really briefly in that video was the image of a basketball court. As I traveled across the country to these other facilities, I came back and said, you know, this is unlike anything we've seen before. We'll be building basketball courts in a CHKD facility. Otherwise, in the hospital, the main hospital that we have right now, the children are too ill to be able to engage in sports like that. So this new tower actually has 2 basketball courts, one indoors and one outdoors. We have a rooftop play deck that is has a mini soccer field. It has the basketball court. It has green space for the children to have some therapeutic outdoor area to interact with their therapists. We also have an indoor creative expression space that is next to the gym. We'll have an art studio, and we have a music studio complete with a mini recording studio. So these children are going to be engaging in activities as they would while they were in school. We'll have a number of school teachers on staff, child life specialists, the full gamut of care that you expect inside the main hospital, you'll have inside this new facility. And the reality is that we cannot do this without you. As the expression goes, it takes a village, and this is no exception. I described to you the investment that has to be made to bring this to reality, to make this vision come true and be real for our children. And we have set an ambitious goal, we thought it was ambitious, of $60 million to raise to build this new facility. And we are just ever so shy of that $60 million right now, and that was a goal that we hope to achieve by the end of 2 years from now. To the extent that the community has been so incredibly philanthropic and generous, and obviously from the $200+ million construction project and the annual operating needs of this facility and attracting the talent, we need to raise that level to much higher. So we will be doing that and expressing a new goal after the first of the year. But I really want to spend a moment just thanking each and every one of you, and especially thanking Charlie and the entire commitment of your organization, not only to CHKD, but to all children. It's inspirational for all of us who work in an organization like CHKD to come to an organization like yours and to see how you live and breathe your mission of service, not only to your customers when they come into a facility like this, but also when they leave, to make sure that you're taking care of their children and their families when when they're out and about in their daily lives. And it truly makes a difference to know that we have a corporate partner and a corporate citizen like Charles Barker Automotive and like you all here in this room that day in and day out are working hard and are dealing with many of the issues that we see coming into our hospital every day, and yet you take the time to give back to others, to volunteer your time and your resources and your support to an organization like CHKD. So we are so incredibly grateful and we're incredibly inspired by all of you, and I extend the offer to all of you, any of you who would like more information about anything at CHKD or about our mental health initiative or just any private conversation you might wish to have about anything that's going on within your world. We're always here for you, and we're here to reach out and to be the support that you all need, because you all provide that support to us. So thank you so much for this time, and thank you so much for inspiring us, and thank you so much, Charlie. We appreciate all you do.
Amy, I don't know how you do what you do, but thank you for what you do, because without someone like this driving the bus, so to speak, things like this, the new mental health center doesn't get done. So we're really proud to be part of that. CHKD is a jewel in our neighborhood. It's the services it provides to our youth and our children. And those figures are staggering about teenage suicide and mental health. I mean, you think in this room, probably 1 out of 4 children that you have may have a mental health issue. And that's really bringing it home. I mean, you think about that. That's how severe it is. And the teen suicide is just unbelievable. So we want to give our support to CHKD and the Mental Health Center. Yogi, how's that? On behalf of you, as you remember, a few years ago, we supported the Resource Center over here with a $250,000 contribution from our employees, and we do that over 5 years at a time. So we've got a little fake check here for her, $250,000 from you guys. So So you got questions about how you can support or how you can give. First off, there's always the same questions come up. All the money that we raise through Champions for Kids stays in this community. We don't have any big administrative fees, so the money doesn't get spent on, big buildings or glamorous things or whatever. So if you give $1, pretty much a whole dollar goes into the foundation. You can designate, for example, if you had a special cause or need that you wanted to support, you can designate that your funds or your contribution can go to that, as long as it's a 501c, as long as it's a nonprofit. Other things might be, hey, is it tax deductible? Yeah, in most cases it's all tax deductible, so if you give $1, you don't really pay $1, you get it back on your state and income tax as a contribution. I believe that we all have sort of a civic rent to pay in a community like this. We take so much out of a community, it's not too much to give something back, but the feeling you get from helping something like this mental health center is priceless. I know each of us have a budget, and we're trying to live the best we can and what we make, but in this case, giving's not mandatory; it's totally optional. But we try to make it easy. You can do it through payroll deduction. We suggest a day's pay. We suggest managers 1% of their salary. Those are all suggestions. Again, it's not mandatory, but what we really want and what we've had in the past in most cases is participation. If everybody here participates, just think how wonderful that will be at any level. The lowest level to the highest level. We have special levels. I don't know, Teresa, have you got that on the board, the 250? And we have a Hall of Fame level. We have a bronze level. That's from 250 to 749, 750 up to 1250, let's say silver. These are special levels. You get a nice little memento, if you will. Some of you have them already. Then we have a Hall of Fame, which is over 2,500. So think about the special levels as you think about whether you want to give or not. Some people have actually donated their PTO days, their personal time off days, or one or something. So You can even make a memorial donation. If there's something that you would like to recognize someone in your family or someone else, you can do it through a memorial donation. So it's your chance here to make someone's day, make someone's life better, and I hope you'll really consider it. I'll share a thought with you as I close. This is from an American French Quaker back in the 17th century. He said, "I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, I can do, or any kindness I can show, let me do it now. Let me not hesitate or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again." I've always had one of my favorite sayings is, "I'm just passing through," and nothing is truer than that. We're all just passing through. But if you can help somebody in need or some organization in need along the way, it just makes you feel better. So how you do it, you pick up your pledge form on the back, from on the back table behind Joey's desk there. Joey, Tracy, and Angie, they're ready to hand them out. We ask you return it by November 15th, whether you're in or whether you're out, just so we can keep our record straight. So anyway, with that, if there are any questions at all, I'm happy. Amy's happy to answer any of them if you have any. None? I'm sorry?
So we're going to do the raffle this year.
Oh, we got a raffle. All right, so if you explain the raffle.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you this.
We have about 30 items, range from $100 gift card to restaurants to Yeti cooler to, all kinds of stuff. Turn in your pledge to get a raffle card. We'll drop it in, and next Tuesday we'll videotape the drawings. You guys will be notified what you win.
Very good. So you put that on my last page, that's why I didn't see it.
Sorry.
All right, so no questions? None? Well, again, it's just terrific to see all of you in a group, and I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do. Let's go to work and have a great day and enjoy what's left of it. Thanks so much.